Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades, I hope you're doing well wherever you are. This is Kenya Revolutionary, bringing you another really quick short video about Kenyan politics, what's happening in Kenyan politics. Listen, this will be a really short video. This time I mean it. I know I usually say that it's going to be a short video, but I'm actually, I'm in the middle of something. So I have to keep this short, as brief, as succinct, and pithy as I can possibly make this one. Okay, so let's get into it. Dang it. All right, here we are. We are back again. Sorry, guys. The people who are, like I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, let me just go, say what I was saying. If this is your first time here, ladies and gentlemen, I talk about Kenyan politics and world politics as it relates to Kenya. So, karibu sana. Subscribe, share, like, comment, and put your notification button on. And if you then you is on. So my connection is kind of whatever because I'm in the middle of nowhere. Okay, you can't. But anyway, let me make this video really quick and very short. Is Raila's bedroom being invaded? Is there an invasion of Raila's bedroom, proverbial bedroom that is political bedroom? For those of you who are wondering, I'm not talking about his actual bedroom, what used to be his boss is no longer here with us. I'm talking about his base. And I'll be very quick. Before I get to the topic, let's just address what we talked about yesterday about Kahiga, the governor of Nyeri. I told you guys, what will you expect after Kahiga made those statements? As expected, the ODM brigade, the Gladys Wanga and others came out and they were throwing shots to people who haven't even had nothing to do with what Kahiga said. Wanga came out and said that, Kahiga is Gachagua's dog. This is really actually a message from Gachagua. This is how they felt. I told you, as I predicted and many others predicted, these folks will try to make it a division between Luo Nyanza people and Central Province people of the Central, okay? Wakikuyu versus Luo. It's an old trick that is not going to work in 2025. I'm sorry, Gladys Wanga. I'm sorry, Kahiga. It's not going to work. We are not getting distracted. We are fully focused on these laws that Ruto is passing. So we are not going to buy that, okay? Ruto has to be addressed. These laws have to be repealed. Not only should they repealed, Ruto must go this time. So we are not buying this. So again, like I said, this was predicted. Gladys Wanga, and she went a step ahead and said, "Oh, Atisinui Gachagua will not be allowed to uh, to go to Bond or Nyanza province or something." I mean, you can't tell anyone they can't go to any part of the country. They are Kenyans. So as long as they are Kenyans and they are working, they live in Kenya, they can traverse in any part of Kenya. Of course, given the political atmosphere, I would advise Gachagua or Kahiga to go in Bondo or wherever the case is. But Gladys Wanga had no business saying that Gachagua or whatever the case, certain people cannot go to, whatever parts of Kenya. This is just, again, this is a deliberate division that these guys are trying to engineer here. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I want to talk about something a little bit different. And again, I said I won't stay here for long. I'll probably be here for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or less than that, 15 maybe, because I'm in the middle of something and I just took a break to talk about this real quick, okay? So those of you who are slowing my internet, good luck, buddy. Thank you so much. I know. But anyway, let's get to it. Let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. Raila's bedroom is being invaded. Why am I saying this? Hey, remember yesterday when Uhuru Kenyatta had to an extra day. He stayed for an extra day, spent the night in Bond or whatever the case is, and condoled with Odinga, Raila Odinga's family, relatives, and all the stuff, close family members. Okay, and he sat there and he was really close to Oburu to say that probably he had that Uji drink with Oburu Kenyatta. Oburu Kenyatta is the most coveted political figure right now after Raila's death. And I'll explain to you why. Um, I told you, I've been saying this, the opposition, the united opposition, okay, which consists of Eugene Wamalwa, Martha Karua, Gachagua, Matiangi, these are all Raila, I mean, all Uhuru Kenyatta's stooges, okay? They are, Uhuru Kenyatta is the ventriloquist, okay? These are puppets. Sorry about that. I know I'm really under attack today. So, guys, you'll have to bear with me today. They're really, really trying to this video. They're really to make this video not come in. I know who they are. Do not worry about it. We are going to solve on with this topic, okay? But anyway, like I said, the United Opposition, they're really still. All right. So, sorry, guys. There'll be these interruptions because I'm under attack right now. They're trying to jam my shit so my internet can slow down. That way, there'll be, it won't be, but it's okay. Let's go on. We are soldiering on. Like I say, the opposition, the Martha Karuas, the Kalonzo Musyoka, Matiangi, Gachagua, Natembea, these are all they're all working for Ruto, okay? They're all working, they're under Ruto. They are paid and paid for everything by Ruto, okay? So what Kenyatta was doing in Bondo was not because so close to Uhuru Kenyatta. Hard. Oh my God. Yeah, like I say, it wasn't because he had a strong bond with Raila Odinga. Of course, they had their business deals and they have this kind of incestuous relationship. As far as I don't know, Raila, some of his relatives are kind of married with I don't know Urus or whatever the case. But anyway, let me get to the point. Okay, so what Uhuru Kenyatta was basically doing, well, he was in Bondo for that extra day, condoling with the family, was basically negotiating a position with who is probably going to be the chairperson of the ODM, who is Oburu Odinga, the brother for Raila Odinga, who was now since deceased. Okay, that's the whole point. Because, like I say, even though this political class, they are working together to secure their interests, they still have to fight amongst each other for who becomes the top dog. Okay? Now, Odinga, who is the brother of Raila Odinga, there's a section, the older folks, the people who are really clinging into the Raila orphans, let me just say that, okay? The people who came to power because of Raila Odinga, okay? But they're not the crowd's favorite. Now that Raila Odinga is gone, their career is threatened. These are the guys who are fighting to actually have Oburu Odinga to become the head of ODM, okay? Because Oburu Odinga, okay, is okay with so-called staying in government, like the way he told us, okay? He wants to stay in the government even past 2027, all right? Now, that's why you see this division right now. Otiende Amolo was in a FM and made very clear. Something everybody knows we was only suppressed till, oh Lord, yeah, the broad-based government was only supposed to to last up to 2027. In fact, like I said in my previous video, it is rumored that Raila was actually engineering an exit, okay, unalived, okay. That's my conspiracy theory version of things. But anyway, let's stick to it. So now that Raila Odinga is out of the picture, he cannot speak for himself, he can express himself, he cannot say the intention or the direction of which ODM was supposed to take. We know clearly, understand this. Raila Odinga made it very clear that whatever Sifuna says, that was his mouthpiece as the Secretary General, okay? And you heard Raila say in that last public address of the ODM party, that PPP, not a PPP, whatever, the party, inter-party meeting, whatever, in Nakuru. No, it was actually Machakos. He made it clear and posed the question, what makes you think that ODM, who told you that ODM will not be presenting a candidate in 2027, which basically suggests that Raila was planning on Raila and ODM. Raila as the chairperson, as the head of ODM, the owner of ODM, basically, was planning on having a candidate in 2027. Now, given the fact that he was planning on having a candidate in 2027, that basically means that at some point before 2027, ODM was going to exit this political arrangement with UDA, okay? So now see people are twisting the words. The people who are threatened by the absence of Raila Odinga, the people who are holding on to his coat, the people who their career depended on Raila Odinga, they're desperately trying to get Oburu to take over, take that position that Raila had. That way, they can continue with the broad-based government well past 2027. Okay, because that's where their career, they don't waste the people. And they know they're not they're not popular, and they know they're probably going to be voted in. So they want this arrangement to stick to the arrangement so that we can go post 2027, so that they can stay employed and enjoy the government, the government, the benefits of the government. Okay, being in government, so to speak. Okay, that's why you can hear people like Caswell, who is Johnny Come Lately, is speaking as if he's the general secretary. In fact, he was actually trying to attack Sifuna, okay, saying that Sifuna was misinforming the public about Raila's position, about how Raila position on whether or not they are going to floor a presidential candidate. Okay, you saw Caswell saying that if Ruto sticks to the plan, the masharti, the points that they agreed upon on this BBI. Caswell says he's willing to support William Samoei Ruto past 2027, which is an astounding statement coming from Caswell, someone who opposed him. Again, these guys are shameless because they were, even when Raila was alive, he was blaming the Ruto for doing all this X, B, X, Y, and Z. And now all of a sudden he's even willing to support Ruto past 2027 as a presidential candidate. Okay, so you see that this faction of ODM, okay, that really depend on they depend on their career depends on Oburu becoming the head of ODM and partnering with Ruto and UDA. Okay, they are very vocal and they're coming, making it clear, trying to say that Raila was going to secretly pick Ruto as the presidential candidate in 2027, which is a lie, because like I told you, Raila was very clear that they were going to have their own presidential candidate in 2027, which automatically means that the BBI arrangement was going to be over by then. Okay, so and Otiende Omolo in his Spice FM interview actually basically made that clear. Let me just say that. He made that clear in that interview because he made it clear that, hey, listen, Raila Amolo actually told Raila Odinga actually told some people who were close to him that he was planning on running again in 2027. Basically saying that Raila Odinga was planning on getting out of this arrangement, this broad-based government before 2027. Okay? And he also mentioned that the broad-based political arrangement between ODM and UDA was meant to last, its time frame was supposed to last up to 2027. Okay? It was never going to be past 2027. And this actually aligns with what Raila said before he passed on. Because he said that to come 2027, ODM shall have its own candidate. Sifuna said the same thing. And Raila himself, with his mouth, coming out of his mouth before he passed away, he said that Sifuna is the official mouthpiece of the ODM, and he that. So now you can see there's two factions here. All right. Now, here's the thing. The reason why I'm saying Oburu Odinga is actually the most coveted political figure right now in Kenya. It's because Oburu Odinga is most likely going to take Raila Odinga's position. And the assumption is, once he takes that position as the head or chairperson of the ODM, whatever the case is, the assumption among the political parties outside of Nyanza is that where Oburu Odinga and ODM heads, that's where majority of the people from Luo Nyanza shall go. So, for example, if Oburu Odinga decides, if he becomes the chairperson, takes Raila's position, okay, formally, if he endorses Ruto to be the presidential candidate that the ODM endorses in 2027, the assumption is that's where Luo Nyanza shall go, okay? And again, this is not guaranteed. So here it is. Kenyatta stayed an extra day in Bondo, okay, trying to convince Oburu Odinga, that, hey, listen, you don't have to endorse William Samoei Ruto in 2027 because, if you oppose William Samoei Ruto, okay, assuming that you'll become the chairperson of the ODM, this guy automatically will go home, okay? He won't survive re-election. And I think that's what's the thinking behind this. Whether Oburu joins the opposition or just, they floor their own presidential candidate in 2027, that's enough to actually take out votes from Ruto. Ruto desperately needs that Nyanza vote since he lost Western and the combined stuff. They only have East and maybe Coastal and Rift Valley. So he desperately needs to Nyanza votes and some of the Western, okay? Because that, even if he rigs, it can be believable, okay? When he rigs, it seems like, okay, this is supposed possibility. He had the Mali vote, he had the Northeastern with the Somalis and stuff, okay? Okay, it will seem plausible, okay? But if he loses Nyanza, let's say Odinga stops working, walks out of this broad-based government, okay? Ruto, mathematically, he won't win. There's no way, even if he rigged, it would be so. Actually, the Nyanza people are not behind. The Central people are not behind. The company is not there. That's why they're desperate, trying to have Oburu to have their own. Since assuming that Oburu will be the head of the ODM, is ODM to have their own presidential candidate. If possible, have ODM have a coalition agreement with his Jubilee, which in turn will be on the opposition side. Okay? So you can see there's a tug of war between Uhuru faction and Ruto faction. Now, Ruto is confident that Uhuru will. Okay? The ODM people had signed this relationship that they have now. Okay? It is in paper. It's a contract that they have, that they wrote down, that they'll be working together. Okay? Uburu, ODM, and UDA, they signed ICC, Sifuna was there, so there's a working relationship between you, it's paper. Okay? And Ruto, Raila Odinga is not there. It stands that Oburu and all this Wanga, Mbadi, conference, have a stake. These people are also desperate to stick with Ruto because they're desperate to have a job. Like I said, not very popular with the people now that Raila is no longer propping them up. So they have to stick with in order to stay relevant and in order to enjoy you have when you are part of government. Okay, so that is what. So there's this wedge between the Ruto faction and the Kenyatta faction, Uhuru Kenyatta faction. Like I say, Uhuru Kenyatta stayed an extra day in Bondo, trains Oburu to that's why you see there's a lot of propaganda. All right, this you see what I'm saying? But anyway, guys, it's 24 minutes. I'll keep this short because I'm getting this attack and I have to go back to what I was doing. I was in the middle of something. But anyway, I'll come back with another video later on. Uh, uh, like I say, I usually say, once I get these internet attacks like this stream, when I'm streaming, it confirms that somebody's worried about what I'm saying. And that gives me a motivation to make more videos. So kudos to you guys. But anyway, guys, don't forget to subscribe, share, like, comment, and do all the good stuff. I'll leave it here. Like I say, I was going to make this short, but I'll come back later for another video and we'll discuss more about Kenyan politics. Again, subscribe, share, like, comment, and do all that stuff. I'll talk to you guys. My name is Kenyan Revolutionary. I'm out. Peace and